there everyone, GXVL here with the brand new anime and manga discussion talking about the likes of the great Jahy. I actually finished reading these first 3 volumes and currently I am trying to read this one. But of course, I was just trying to skim to places to see if there was some other stuff that I missed from the anime. Yeah, I actually seen the anime at first hand before getting into the manga. I thought the anime was very sweet, very wholesome. But of course, there's still for a lot for me to say. But I just want to explain a few things first. So, anyways, to start off, this is a reverse isekai when it comes to the main character herself, Jahy, right? And I say that because to explain what isekai is to some people who are not aware of that term, is like if you've seen the likes of Amphibia by any chance, that's what an isekai is. Like you're being transported into a world and you want to escape from it. And to summarize Amphibia here is that Anne, the main character, and her 2 best friends that are also humans get trapped into a world full of amphibians that are anthropomorphic, and Anne is trying to also save the world at the same time, and eventually her and her 2 best friends go back to Earth. With Jahy though, she wants to go back to the Dark Realm. That's where she is from and serving under the Dark Lord. And I gotta say something about the Dark Lord. This maybe sounds spoilerish to some people, but I don't think so entirely if you've already seen the series yourself. The Dark Lord is nothing but a lowly Beerus, if that makes any sense. Because she eats a lot and she's very lazy. I don't know what is Japan is obsessed with the idea like, hey, let's make very intimidating and powerful looking people, but make them lazy and just eating like a bunch of junk, despite like not showing their true potential and powers that much, right? And I'm like, okay then. It's a weird trend as of late if I didn't know any better, right? But aside from that, on how Jahy got into our world and living in Japan for the most part is because a magical girl appears and completely shatters, and I do mean shatter, not completely destroy, this huge gigantic monocrystal. And this particular object helps Jahy to be at her full power, but also the Dark Lord if I didn't know any better, right? And apparently, because of that, she is turned into this. But apparently she does have a temporary power-up when going back to her true form. Just sadly, she only has that one small little piece of monocrystal around her neck. Alright? So, yeah, she made it her mission to find every monocrystal to gain that type of true immense power-up just to defeat the magical girl. And oh boy, I think what's really hilarious here is that, like, while this may be a reverse isekai, it's also a slice of life comedy, just with fantasy stuff. So despite that, it's not going to be as action packed like as Dragon Ball, especially the original Dragon Ball series, and like Marvel or DC. I think it's actually okay just to actually have a little bit and a small adventure, something that is at low at stakes, and especially just to be attached to these fictional characters. And I do mean like just emotionally speaking, all right? Not like very compelling like Shakespeare levels of writing, or to be like highly invested just to see what kind of drama or what kind of stakes are there, or who's going to be winning in this fight, like who has the bigger, highest power levels. Like, nah, you're not going to be seeing none of these here, all right? But you will see that in a certain extent when it comes to like maybe the last 3 episodes of the great Jahy will not be defeated. I'm referring to the anime. So using the anime to help me out here is that how would I put it like this? Apparently, hearing from some other folks that talked about this, like Corin Eden, I cannot remember his name. I may not be subscribed to that guy, but I did saw his video when talking about the great Jahy series, saying that like they kind of basically dragged out the manga being portrayed in the anime, like trying to like be a little bit more funny, because it is a comedy and it is slice of life. So how can you extend that a little bit more? Obviously, you have to use some bonus chapters to still entertain the audience. So that makes sense. There are some bonus chapters, but apparently they skipped some of the few. And funny enough, I was curious what were the bonus chapters at the very end before still reading. Even despite me knowing what's gonna happen, I still enjoy reading what I already know about, regardless. Okay, because there might be a different interpretation than the actual anime, right? So when looking at volume 4, it shows me Ryu, the landlord who owns the apartment. You get to see her kid self just for a good moment, and I'm like, hey, why wasn't that part of the anime? Because you don't get to see that. So I'm like, really? Like, you get some of the other bonus chapters to be adapted into the anime, why not this one? And I really like the landlady. Yeah, so I'm about to get into some favorite characters. So as much as I also do like Jahy herself, because I find her kind of slightly complex. It's like in terms of like, so she's a bad guy herself, but she does become much more of a better person when it comes to her struggles on finding the mana crystals, and especially trying to live a little bit better when it comes to a somewhat crummy apartment. This is the apartment where she's living in, particularly this room, and she's not too proud of it by the looks of it, despite what she is saying. So yeah, she just only has like a very kind of a weak ass looking bed there, or a futon, whatever you want to call it, and apparently she eats nothing but white onions or green beans, whatever the fuck she's eating. Like, the poor girl needs some really good food to eat. Damn it, she can't just live off on one only particular food. All right, all right. But anyways, though, again, she eventually does make a friend who is actually my third favorite character. So I'll get into her right about soon. All right. But man, I think she has a very cute dynamic with my third favorite character, who is a kid herself, right? But getting into the likes of Ryu, aka the landlord / landlady, who does own the apartment and is the sister to this lady right here, who is mostly referred as the boss. Quick nitpick here for me to say, apparently in the manga and in the anime, they hardly refer to each other's names that much. But I'm glad that having the manga here has helped me to remember their names. The boss, sadly not so much though. But anyways, I can see why the landlady can be very cranky, probably because she wants to have the same size of bosoms, the same size of bosoms as her older sister, and especially that Jahy refuses to pay rent, despite that Jahy doesn't make too much money from the bar and grill where the boss owns and works at. All right, so yeah, it's a very weird predicament there. So these two are basically taking care of her. They're kind of like her parents, even though that they're not really parents, but she's kind of treating them as a family along the way. But just to focus on the landlady though, she stole my heart, and she's feeling this very void right here when it comes to this character. So yeah, despite that launch is no longer that much around in Dragon Ball, other than just the original Dragon Ball series, right? I'm like, the landlady reminds me so much of Launch, but mostly in terms of that Launch, like just the attitude and the interactions with the great Jahy. Like, every time she knocks on the door or just barges in just to say, pay your rent, damn it, pay your rent. And they pull off like a Tom and Jerry or Looney Tunes interaction here, like they're fighting amongst each other. Until the boss comes in, tells her young sister and Jahy to like cooperate, like at least find some way to manage, you know. So I'm like, okay, then you get that, and I really like that. And along the way, you do get to see, despite looking drunk, apparently both the great Jahy herself and the landlady Ryu, they are good friends when they're drunk. And the boss herself, she decided to take pictures of them, looking like if they were best friends. She says that she keeps telling herself like, I feel so ashamed taking pictures of this, but she cannot help herself. And I'm like, girl, I swear, my own best friend Mac Trump would actually like this character. That is the boss. I mean, like, the boss, she's a very sweet character. She really is. But before getting that much into her, I do want to say, when it comes to Kokoro, which is the third friend, the third character that the Great Jahy meets, she's very sweet, and their bond is so precious. I'm not kidding when I say this, guys. I know this is coming from a grown-ass man who I honestly do think that Jahy's truest and only greatest friend is Kokoro. Like, it's very sweet. I mean, so this is Kokoro, and she gives Jahy a lucky 4-leaf clover. Jahy looks very happy having it around. Like, it's just so damn wholesome. It's so sweet. All right, and what I forgot to mention something when it comes to Ryu, the landlady. At one point, you do get to see her holding Jahy, trying to protect her from the magical girl, as if she was her kid. And that's what I love about the landlady. Like, she is not that very one-sided of a character when it comes to like only showing her bad side. She does have that sweet side. She has that soft side, and I really love that about her. And she's one of the biggest reasons why I even love this particular series. So yeah, she is my girl. All right, she my girl. She my girl. From 4 to 6 volumes when it comes to the manga side of things. And speaking of which, is that like I want to say that the series is still technically continuing on the side of the manga. When it comes to the anime, I'm not too sure if it will get a season 2. Now, the other reason why I'm interrupting myself is so that way I can make this very loud and clear. Because the boss, who has been basically comforting and mentoring the great Jahy, despite Jahy is still technically an adult, especially from her own world. But without the boss, I wouldn't see the great Jahy herself being developed to be much more of a better overall character, especially kind of complex and developed along the way. Because if it was just only the landlady, I don't see her being developed that much at all. So yes, the boss who owns a bar and grill, who has of course big personalities, she's very attractive, very cute, very adorable. She's definitely a damn good mentor, especially someone like, of course, aside from just comforting Jahy, but to tell her like very good advice and a tiny bit of wisdom. I wouldn't call it wisdom by a long shot, but just basic stuff that we know about in our own daily lives, since this is a reverse isekai. But the boss is definitely important and integral for the story, and especially for the great Jahy herself to become a better person. And then I get to my least favorite characters. Well, only one in particular. Druge is an interesting character. I'm not gonna lie, Druge is a very interesting character. She likes to be treated low class by the great Jahy herself, and I'm like, apparently she has some sort of weird fetish that whenever Jahy picks on her and says that like, you want me to eat this slob? Here, you eat it. No, wait, I'll punish you. And she enjoys this. And I'm like, girl, you kind of messed up in the head. And even Jahy kind of recognizes that the moment that they're both living in the world, in our world on Earth. Like, and Druge overthinks a lot, and apparently she's her own CEO, owns her own company, and I'm like, girl, are you like the Elon Musk of the Great Jahy series? Because it looks like it, but there's one big difference. One, Elon Musk does not like torture himself. Apparently you love torture by someone that you admire a lot. It's a weird affection right there. Weird affection. And when it comes to the magical girl herself, I forgot her name, but she's an oddball. herself. Though, like, apparently she likes the bad luck. She doesn't want anyone else to get hurt except for herself. So I'm like, alright, okay. And apparently she is in need of a best friend, like a really good friend. I'm like, okay then. I can see why Jahy may not like her so much, because she does come across as very stalkerish. Like, damn. And I thought Marinette from Miraculous was stalkerish. I'm like, holy crap. Eesh. So, I may not like hate the magical girl, but I do have weird types of feelings towards her. I'm like, I don't know if I either like her or afraid of her myself. I'm like, okay. And now we get the likes of Swarm, who she's a Team Rocket like character, and I mean this as an insult, not as a compliment, because I like me some Team Rocket like characters, and this one not so much though, because apparently she wanted to be second in command for the Dark Lord. So now she wants to have revenge on Jahy, and yet her revenge plans on Earth towards Jahy don't even cut it, and she kind of gets on my nerves. I mean, like, there are moments where you do kind of feel sorry for her to an extent, I guess. Other moments, not so much though. Not really so much. Oh, but I thought apparently she has a fondness towards Jahy's boss and / landlord's older sister, and I do mean fondness as in like maybe she might be developing a crush on the boss. And I'm like, I know she, like, not only she felt the big bosoms, but she also got a very a lovely treatment from the boss by pretending to be Jahy at one point. And especially bumping into the boss in a spa, in a sauna. Alright, so I'm like, okay then, so apparently she might be a lesbian, and I do not mind that. And apparently Jahy didn't remember your name, girl. Sorry, Sword, but I don't know. But hey, I do think her dynamic with the boss is very sweet though. Like something kind of interesting there going on there. Alright, but you won't be seeing that much romance throughout of this slice of life versus Isekai at all, because that's not its driving point at all. That's not its goal. So that is one of the things I would actually welcome more, like, by not having a romance plot all the time. I already have a romance series to follow, which is Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, alright? This one right here, no romance. So that's already an A+ grade. I know I'm already giving it like a weird rating right there, but nah. I will tell you about how the writing is though, but it's just gonna be a short summary. The writing is pretty simplistic actually. Like I said, that it is a slice of life reverse isekai with not much action. So the writing is not going to be that fundamentally broken whatsoever, nor is it's going to be that Shakespearean or great as some other animes or shows. But you will be emotionally attached to the characters, and you already see how I acted towards like the landlord, alright? Because Shima girl, to fill this launch heart I have on my chest already. Alright. But as far as I know, if I were to rate this, I have to say most definitely either 4 or 5 star Dragon Balls, if I say so myself. Alright, so would I recommend checking it out? Well, if you want to take like I said before, if you want to take a break from action for the most part, and you just only want to see something slightly adventurous, something comedic, something that will fill you a lot of wholesomeness than others, The Great Jahy Will Not Be Defeated is right up your alley, alright? So this has been GXVL saying off right now. Later.